Well, how are you guys doing today? So we're going to talk about 4.2. Okay, it's going to be a lot of word problems. You guys are probably going to struggle a little bit with it. I could give you a bunch of formulas, but that's not really what I'm trying to get at. Okay, I don't want you guys just memorize a bunch of formulas. What I really want you to do is understand unit conversions and how they work. All right. So we got our first problem up here. The Lincoln Town Car gets about 14 miles per gallon around town and has a 20-gallon tank. How far can I drive before having to fill up for gas? All right. So, we got to think about what are we trying to find and what do we know? I want to find, I'm really asking how far can I drive? So isn't that like a distance here? Okay. So I'm trying to find a distance. What do I know? Okay, well I know that the Lincoln Town Car gets 14 miles per gallon. 14 miles, all right? And we can really write that as 14 miles divided by 1 gallon. All right? Basically, you can drive 14 miles for every 1 gallon of gas. The other thing we know is there's a 20-gallon tank. Okay, so if we think about what we know and what we're trying to find, well, I know a distance over a volume. Okay, gallons like a volume. So I know a distance over volume. 20 gallons is a volume. Okay, so if I multiply these together, this is really volume over 1. Okay, because you can always stick 1 at the bottom or in the denominator. So my distance is probably going to be in miles that I'm going to be trying to find here. Okay? It doesn't specify what the units have to be in, but you're really trying to find the distance. And if our distance over here that we're given was miles, it's going to be easiest to just stick in miles. Okay? So if you look what happens here if I just multiply these together. Okay, multiply it by 20 gallons over 1. What happens, keep your units in your fractions because it's going to cancel just like a normal fraction, right? You can reduce up and down and diagonally. Now my gallons cancel, I can just multiply this fraction straight across. I'm just going to get 14 times 20. Okay, my units on top here are miles. On bottom, I get 1 times 1. We don't need to write that. I don't have any more units on bottom. Okay? So, all you got to do is type that into your calculator because, yeah, you get to use a calculator these days. So we do 14 times 20. So that's going to be 280 miles. Now, guys, I really want you to think about the units because we're going to get to problems that are way harder than this, okay? I know you could almost look at this and without even thinking about what to do, you're like, oh, I'm just going to multiply them together because dividing doesn't really make sense. Okay? Think about your units and what's happening because it will get way, way harder. All right? Lots of fun word problems. I love word problems. Actually, I really don't because it's a lot of writing on the board for me to do. All right, so let's check out letter B then. We got Maybelline. Okay, she drove 440 miles. That's quite a distance, Maybelline. All right, and, ooh, I can't write. Okay, she put 16 gallons of gas in her tank. Okay. I want to know how many miles per gallon did she get? Maybelline. lots of words. You guys can pause the video, write that down if you'd like. All right, guys, as we go through these problems, I want you to really pause the video, see if you can figure this out yourself, okay? Because they're going to progressively get harder. Actually, the first couple might be super easy, and all of a sudden they just kind of kick your butt there, all right? So I want you guys trying these on your own. Like I said, think about what you're trying to find and what we know. Okay, how many miles per gallon did Maybelline get? That's what we're trying to find. Is really miles per gallon. Okay? Guys, make sure you abbreviate miles as MI and not M. M is meters, MI is miles. Alright, so we're trying to find miles per gallon. We really only know two things. Okay, we're going to use those two pieces of information. We know we have 16 gallons, which I said gallons is a volume here. Okay, the other thing we know is 440 miles, which is a distance. What we're really looking for is a distance over volume. And this one's really straightforward, guys. All you got to do is, well, if I know gallons and I know miles and we want miles per gallon, doesn't miles just go on top? 440 miles divided by 16 gallons. Okay. Once again, you just type that bad boy into the calculator. We get 440 divided by 16. It's going to be 27.5. Okay. 27.5. My units are going to be miles per gallon. So guys, really what happens here is that ends up being 27.5 over 1. So she gets 27.5 miles for every 1 gallon of gas. Okay? Piece of cake. That was a lot of words for such an easy problem. Alright. Lots of erasing, lots of writing. Alright, let's go on to the next one. Oh, we have Bella Rose here. Sweet, sweet Bella Rose. She got 36 miles per gallon. Okay? And drove for 300 miles. That Bella Rose, I tell you what. Yeah, 300 miles. How much gas did Bella Rose use? Alright, so once again, guys, we got to think about what we know and what we're trying to find. So, what I know. Actually, I always like starting with what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find how much gas did she use. Okay? Isn't that like a volume? Okay, and we normally measure how much gas in gallons. Okay, so we want to try to get to gallons. We only know two pieces of information. We're going to use those two pieces somehow to figure this out. So what we know, we have 36 miles for every 1 gallon. Okay? We also know that we have 300 miles. So guys, like I said, I want you guys, as soon as I write every problem down, try it on your own. Okay? You're not going to get anything out of this by watching me go through a bunch of these without actually thinking for yourself. Think for yourself. Whoop. All right, here we go. So we're trying to find gallons. Okay? I really only have two things I can do here. Okay? If I check this out, I have 36 miles divided by 1 gallon, right? Now, this is really going to be 300 miles over 1. I obviously want my miles to cancel. So, what I would do is put the miles on bottom. 300 miles. Okay, it's just going to be 1 on top. Hopefully we're all right with this. What happens here is my miles cancel, right? What happens with my units is I'm going to get 36 over 300, which we don't really care about that right now. What I want us thinking about is my units on top would be 1. My units on bottom are gallons now. Okay? we don't want 1 over gallons. All right, 1 over gallons doesn't really make sense. Okay, we're trying to find gallons, not 1 over gallons. So if this ever happens, you did everything correct. You just need to do a little flippity floppity on everything. All right, so this is going to be 1 gallon over 36 miles. Now this is going to be times 300 miles over 1. Now guys, part of the reason that we can kind of do this is these are equivalent. We're saying that in this case, 36 miles is going to equal 1 gallon of gas. So if they're equal to each other, it doesn't matter which one's on top. Okay? It'd be like if you're saying, it's another good example, feet and miles. So there's 5,280 feet in 1 mile, right? So if these are equivalent essentially to each other, if I put 1 mile over 5,280 feet, doesn't that just basically equal 1? Okay, if these are equal to each other, anything divided by itself is essentially 1. It's really a funny form of 1 here. But if I were to do it reverse order, 5,280 feet divided by 1 mile, okay, these are essentially the same thing again. Anything divided by itself is 1. Okay, so it doesn't matter which order we put these in. We want to pay attention to our units because it's going to make a big difference. It's going to give us the difference between the right answer and the wrong answer. And you guys all know the difference between right and wrong. So here what happens is my miles cancel. Now when I check out my units, on top I have gallons, on bottom I don't have anything. Okay? Which is exactly what we want. Okay, so all I got to do is in the calculator, type in 300 divided by 36. Okay, and we end up getting 8.333. Like I said, my units would be gallons over 1, which you would just write as gallons. Now guys, when you're doing some basic problems like this, I mean, it's common sense, right? If you would type this in, okay, 36 divided by 300, okay, you get 0.12. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Okay, it's not gallons, it'd be 1 over gallons. Okay, if you're thinking about this, you get 36 miles a gallon, and you drove for 300 miles. How much gas did you use? You probably used a whole lot more than 0.12 gallons. Okay, you used 8.333. Like I said, this stuff is gonna be, you're gonna feel like, Mr. Ernie, I don't need to think about these units. This stuff's easy. It's a joke. Okay, I'm telling you, the problems are gonna get harder. So you got to start thinking about our units now. Okay. The sooner you start really thinking about your units, the better off you're gonna be long term in this chapter. Oh boy, alright. That was fun. 1 page down, guys. Couple to go. Let's start talking about some speed. Okay? I know what you're thinking. I look like I'm pretty quick, huh? Quick draw McGraw. Let's talk about some speed, alright? Do you guys know sloths are the slowest animal on Earth? Or maybe mammal, one of the two. Either animal or mammal, I don't know. Sloths are very slow, we'll put it that way. They're the slowest of something. Okay? Their top speed has been recorded at 0.15 miles per hour. Okay? Now you guys are going to start to see, I know we've seen this in the past, MPH represents miles per hour. Okay? You're going to want to start thinking about that as a fraction though. So this is going to be like 0.15 miles for every 1 hour. Okay, so that's going to be the distance for every hour. Now the problem is, how many feet per second is this? So once again, guys, if you don't even know what you're doing, we got to think about what are we trying to find and what do we know. So what we're trying to find, okay, is going to be feet per second. That's going to be a fraction here, feet per seconds. Okay, another way to think about that is this is going to be a distance over time. Okay, what we have over here, we know how fast a sloth can go, and that's going to be 0.15 miles for every 1 hour. Okay, which again is a distance over time. Okay, so we're not really going to be doing any kind of manipulation to it other than changing our distance is not correct. We're in miles, we want to be in feet. Okay? Right now our time is in hours, we want to be in seconds. So we think about that, we need to convert miles to feet. Do we know that conversion? So last week I had you guys write all these conversions down so they're all on one nice page for you so you can look up. Okay? Like I said, in past years I've always had my students memorize them and then we tested on them because you should know how many feet are in a mile. So we know 1 mile is going to equal 5,280 feet. Okay? I also need to figure out how to go from hours to seconds. Well, I don't know any straight up conversion from hours to seconds, but I do know how many minutes are in an hour, and I know how many seconds are in a minute. So you're going to have to do 2 conversions to change from hours to seconds. So 1 hour equals 60 seconds, or 60 minutes. Holy cow. And 1 minute is going to equal 60 seconds. Alright, so we're going to take this little piece of information here, 0.15 miles per 1 hour. Okay, and I know in chemistry, they usually have you guys do these like that, which is totally fine. Yeah, it's the same thing. If that's how you want to do it, so be it. Okay? This is math class, and we like to use parentheses instead of those absolute value looking bars. But it's exactly the same thing, okay? I just really want you to start thinking about your units. I have miles right now. I don't want miles. Okay, so I have 2 options with this. 1 mile is 5,280 feet. So I could either put it as 1 mile over 5,280 feet, or I could put 5,280 feet over 1 mile. Okay, either one of these is going to be fine, but only one of them is going to make sense in this problem. I have miles on top. Would I put miles on top to get this to cancel, or would I need it to go on bottom so we can cancel diagonally? Kind of told you the answer there now, didn't I? So I'm going to put miles on bottom, I'm going to put feet on top. Okay, I always start with my units, and then I think to myself, well, I know that 1 mile is 5,280 feet. Okay? What happens with my units now is my miles cancel. If I were to multiply this all out, I'd get feet on top, hours on bottom. Okay, so this would give me feet per hour. I don't want feet per hour, I want feet per second. So, I need to get rid of my hours. Guys, you can work to the right, you could also work to the left here, it doesn't matter. I'm going to work to the left now. I want hours to cancel, right? So I know that 1 hour is 60 minutes, so I could write that as 1 hour over 60 minutes. Or I could write it as 60 minutes over 1 hour. I only want to choose the one that's going to cancel my hours though. Hours was on bottom. I'm going to want to put hours on top so it cancels. Okay? Hours, minutes. Okay, and then think about this. Make sure you don't write the numbers in the wrong spot now that your units are correct. Okay, 1 hour is 60 minutes. Now, if I were to multiply this out, my hours cancel. My units on top would be feet. My units on bottom would be minutes. That would give me feet per minute. We want feet per second. So we got to do this one more time. Okay, so we know stuff about minutes. I want it to cancel, so I'm going to put it up on top so it cancels with the denominator. Seconds would be on bottom. Okay, there are 60 seconds in 1 minute. Minutes cancel. My units are now going to be feet over seconds, so feet per second. Guys, at this point, really you can just multiply your entire top out, multiply your entire bottom out, and then just do top minus bottom. Okay, it's easiest if you have a TI-84. Okay, remember if you hit that, we call it pretty print, alpha right here, y equals right here, and then that ND, you just hit enter. Okay, it will give you a fraction like this. Oops, there we go. Okay, you can just type everything on top there. 0.15 times 5,280 feet. On bottom, I'm going to do 60 times 60. Okay, so I don't know if you can kind of see that. That is how I would type it into my calculator. We hit enter, and I get 0.22. So 0.22, those units are feet per second, which means sloths cannot move a foot a second. They can't even move like half a foot a second. All right, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Yeah. If you don't have a fancy calculator, like I said, multiply your entire top out, get your answer. Multiply the entire bottom out, get your answer, and then just do your top divided by your bottom. Okay, hopefully that works out. I'm just kind of curious here. That seems really slow. How many inches per second would that be? How many inches per second? So if this was 0.22 feet for every second, okay? I don't want feet. I got to get rid of feet. I put feet on the bottom. I want to go feet to inches, right? I asked how many inches per second this would be. There are 12 inches in 1 foot. Okay, so what happens here is my feet cancel. All I would do is take 0.22 times by 12. Okay, so the top speed of a sloth is really going to be 2.64 inches per second, which I find fascinating to be that slow. How do you get food? What does a sloth eat? Must be vegetarian. I don't know. Everything, literally everything else can outrun it, huh? That's crazy. How do you like to be the slowest animal alive? Sad. All right. What we got here then? We got, we went from really slow, we're going to go to really fast. Okay, we got Usain Bolt. All right. He ran the fastest 100 meter ever. So he ran 100 meters in 9.58 seconds. Okay, I don't really know how fast that is. Okay, my mind thinks more miles per hour. So how many miles per hour was that? Okay, so I want you guys to go ahead, see if you can figure that out yourself. Think about what you know, what you're trying to find, and if you can figure out some path to get there. All right, pause the video if you need to, and we'll go over in a second here. All right, so what are we trying to find? We're trying to find a distance over time, and we want it to be miles per hour. Okay. What do we know? Well, we know a distance and we know a time. Okay, we know our distance was 100 meters. Oops, 100 meters. We know our time was 9.58 seconds. Okay, well, if we have a distance and a time, Tim, it looks like, time, can't we just put distance over time? And that's exactly what we want, other than our units aren't quite correct. Okay, because then we'd be in meters when we want miles. We'd be in seconds when we want hours. Okay, so let's set this up. We have 100 meters in 9.58 seconds. All right, so the easiest one I think you guys are most, or at least you're most familiar with, is seconds to hours. Okay, so we can do seconds to minutes, minutes to hours. Shouldn't be a problem. So hopefully you guys did that. I'm going to do that over here on the left side. So I want seconds to cancel, so I'm going to put seconds on top. I don't know how many seconds are in an hour. I do know how many seconds are in a minute. There are 60 seconds in 1 minute. So my seconds cancel. This gives me meters per minute, but we want per hour. So I gotta do this one more time over here. I want minutes to cancel, so I'm gonna put minutes on top, hours on bottom. Now there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. My minutes are gone. I am now in meters per hour. Okay, so we're getting pretty close. Hopefully you guys remember one of the formulas I gave you. All right, we said in track, you know, athletes will typically run the 1600 meter. Okay, it's basically, they say they're running the mile. It's not quite a mile. Okay, there are 1,609 meters in 1 mile. Okay, so that's why you can't be abbreviating miles as M. Okay, meters are M, miles are MI. So if I want meters to cancel here, what I'm going to need to do is put meters on the bottom now. Miles on top. I know that 1 mile is 1,609 meters. Okay? Meters cancel. Let's just double check this works out. On top, my units are miles. On bottom, my units are just hours. So this will give us miles per hour. All right, so we just type this in. 60 times 60 times 100. Woo. Okay, do some calculations here. We end up with an answer of 23.355 miles per hour. Okay, you can write your answer as MPH. It's just when you're doing your calculations, you're going to want to always have it as a fraction, miles divided by hours. That's pretty fast. I don't think I could go that fast. What was the sloth again? Wasn't that like 0.15 miles per hour? Woo! Woo-wee! All right. Are these starting to get a little bit harder for you? Okay, like I said, guys, you have to give it a try first. Even if you don't get very far, you got to start thinking, all right? We got to get those tickers clicking up in your head here. All right, so got a driving problem for all you speedmeisters out there. Always drive below the speed limit. Okay, be safe. If you averaged 60 miles per hour to Steamboat Springs, okay, and it took you 3.2 hours to drive there? Okay. How far away is Steamboat? Okay, so once again, guys, give this a shot. See if you can figure this one out on your own. Really be thinking about your units. Okay, pause the video. All right, here we go. Hopefully you guys figured it out. I'm going to walk you through it, make sure you got the right answer. So, what are we trying to find? We're trying to find how far away Steamboat is. Okay, Steamboat is going to be how far. That's going to be a distance. Okay. I look at my other units here. I see miles per hour and hours, so I'm just going to guess that my distance is going to be in miles. Okay, we know two things. We know we have 60 miles per hour. We also have 3.2 hours. Okay, this one is pretty straightforward, pretty simple. If you guys see here, if we just multiply these together, my hours cancel. You're going to get 60 times 3.2, and that's going to give us how many miles away a Steamboat actually is. So we do 60, multiply it by 60 miles times 3.2 hours. Okay, over 1. My hours cancel, just multiply them straight across. Okay, we're left with miles. When you multiply that all out, I believe it comes out to 192 miles. Okay? So Steamboat's about 192 miles from Junction here. That was swell. Guys, I'm telling you, the problems are only going to get harder, okay? Let's do one more of these. And then we'll just take a short break. We'll make a second video. Don't like these videos get too long, and I don't feel like you watch them all. Okay, guys, treat this like it were class, okay? These would be the problems I'd be giving you in class. All right, if you ran 7.6 miles per hour for 35 minutes, okay, how many miles did you run? Okay, this one would be like if you're running on the treadmill. I don't know how fast 7.6 is. I know I'm not running that fast. For 35 minutes, that seems like a long time to run if you ask me, but see if you guys figure this out. How many miles did you run? Pause the video, go for it. All right, we're back. So, what am I trying to find? I'm trying to find how many miles I ran. That's a distance again. Man, we're finding lots of distances. Okay, I want to know it in miles though. I know two things. I know my speed, which was 7.6 miles per hour. Okay, the other thing I know is a time, which is 35 minutes. Now I got a conundrum here. Okay? No matter what I do to these, I'm not going to get to miles because hours does not cancel with minutes. Okay? This is a, let me switch some colors here. This is a distance over time, and this is a time. Really over 1. So theoretically, if I multiply these together, my times would cancel and I'd be left with a distance, which is exactly what I want to do. However, these times don't quite cancel. Okay, I'm going to have to convert this from miles per hour, maybe to miles per minute. Or another option is you can convert minutes to hours, and then it would cancel. Okay, but either way, these need to be the same units of measure for them to go away. So we have 7.6 miles per 1 hour. Okay, like I said, I'm going to just switch that over to minutes. All right, miles per minute. So when I do that, I got to switch hours. So I want that to cancel. I'm going to put minutes on the bottom. 1 hour is 60 minutes. Okay? Hours go away, this gives me miles per minute. I just want miles. So now if I multiply this by 35 minutes, I'll have the correct units here. Okay, so check that out. So now my minutes cancel. The units I have left are miles on top, no units on bottom. So you just got to multiply this out. Alright, so start multiplying it out. 7.6 times 35 divided by 60. So this comes out to 4.433 miles. Okay, so if you ran 7.6 miles per hour for 35 minutes, you'd go exactly 4.433 miles. Alright guys, I'm going to continue the 4.2 notes. We'll just give you a short break here.